All right, good afternoon. I am here to give a preliminary set of facts about an officer-involved shooting. Again, this happened earlier today, so many of the things that we're talking about could change after we investigate more fully. At about 11:04 this morning, the Hampton Police Division received a call from a woman who works at Wynn Ford, that's in the city of Hampton in the 1000 block of Mercury Boulevard. The complainant said that there was a man on the parking lot who had a baseball bat. The man was known to the people at the business. The people inside the business, based on their previous experience with this male, were in fear. So much so that they locked the doors of the business and they retreated to the back of the business where they were out of sight. The female who called us said that she needed us to arrive quickly. She was clearly very afraid. The caller said to the dispatcher that the male was pacing around and he was acting aggressively. The first officer arrived on scene a short time after the call was received. The officer encountered an African-American male subject. He had a baseball bat in his hands and he refused to put the baseball bat down. Officers were on scene for a few minutes. They called for a supervisor. After a short time, a female supervisor arrived. She is a white female. She is a 20-year veteran of the Hampton Police Division. The sergeant quickly began to try to de-escalate. She spoke to the male in very calm, in a calm voice. She tried to encourage him to put down the baseball bat. She asked over and over again. She made no threats. She spoke with a relatively calm voice. The male refused to put down the baseball bat. He began to move the bat in what appeared to be a threatening manner. As this occurred, at some point during the interaction, the sergeant and the man with the baseball bat were close enough that the man with the bat swung the bat and struck the sergeant in the head with the baseball bat. At this point, one of the other officers on the scene, who happens to be an African-American male police officer who has been with the Hampton Police Division since 2019, he drew his weapon and he fired, striking the male with the bat. Both the male who was shot and the female sergeant were injured. Both were injured severely. Officers immediately rendered aid and called for medical assistance. Our female sergeant was transported to the hospital, as was the male with the baseball bat. We were working with the Commonwealth Attorney's Office to review what happened. The Commonwealth Attorney himself was at the scene of this incident and has been able to review many of the facts, and we're working together to make a determination about what happened here. We will continue to investigate. There's much more work that needs to be done. We've also been in contact with the family of the male who was shot to let them know about this tragedy. We will be evaluating whether or not we adhered to policy. We will evaluate whether we adhere to our own procedures and certainly make sure that we were well within the law. I will say I've reviewed all of the body cam footage from officers that were on scene. I've looked at it in this room. In fact, I have to look at it many more times, but I can say the female sergeant did her job, and she did her job very well, and made all of us here proud. It's a tragedy for everybody involved, and we're hoping that everybody gets through it the best that they possibly can. Questions?
What is the latest on the suspect that was taken to the hospital, his medical condition?
The last update I got is he's in critical condition.
And could you kind of explain the timeline between, or the time elapsed between when officers arrived, between that and when he struck the officer, and how close after he struck the officer did the male officer fire his weapon?
The initial call for the man on the parking lot of the business came in at around 11:04, and the gunshots were fired somewhere around 11:37. So a pretty substantial amount of time elapsed between those 2 points.
What was the relation between the man and the business there? Was he a former customer? Do we know that at this point?
We do not know at this point.
Was he having some sort of mental health crisis? Is that why he had the bat with him?
I don't know. That is still under investigation. He, on the body cam, didn't say anything that would indicate that he was suffering from a mental health crisis. Again, as indicated by the body cam, what the officers were confronted with was a man saying nothing but moving aggressively with a baseball bat.
How was your sergeant doing?
I visited her at the hospital, and she said to me, I just wanted everybody to get home safely, including the man with the baseball bat, in tears. You know, that's how she's doing.
How many shots were fired?
Under investigation, more than one, but I do not know for sure.
Now, you said that the man with the bat was known to the employees at Lynn Ford. Has he been on the property before? Has this been an issue before?
We believe that there has been previous contact. They knew of him. They were afraid. The person that called the police was very upset, in fear, and they knew to move to the back of the business. So that this was definitely something that they were taking very seriously. Okay, thank you.